Hello and thanks for joining us for this week's edition of France in Focus. Coming to you from La Monnaie de Paris, the Paris Mint, a place where for centuries coins and medals have been produced. But we're here to talk to you about money, in particular the various different currencies in circulation across the country. But hang on a second, France is in the Eurozone, so everyone just uses the euro, don't they? Well, as it turns out, alongside the euro, there's a growing number of local currencies in circulation. Some of them are just digital, but others have actual banknotes. We're going to start by taking a look at how and where you can use them.
In France, the names of local currencies sound a little bit strange. At the bakery, for instance, instead of buying your bread in euros, you can pay using florin, stuc, boussole, miel, or even muse. But beyond these lyrical names, there's serious business. All of it regulated by the 2014 law on the social economy. Because a local currency's purpose is to boost the local economy. Take your butchers down the street. By using a local currency, you support his whole local production network, from the cattle farmer to the hay producer. However, local currencies won't work in supermarkets, where you can buy lamb from New Zealand, for instance. Wherever they're used, local currencies help preserve the local economy and protect the environment. In France, they surged in 2010, following the global financial crisis. Today, about 40 different currencies are listed in the country. They can only be used in a limited geographical area, never bigger than a town or region. They're complementary and indexed to the euro. One bouzuk, for example, is worth €1, but over time, these currencies can lose value as an incentive for people to use them. Some of them have notes, while others are paperless in a bid to cut costs.
So as we just heard, there are dozens of different local currencies in circulation across France, changing hands every single day. One of them is called the Eusko. It was launched in the Basque Country about 5 years ago. It appears to have caught on in popularity because it's now accepted in hundreds of different shops and organizations right across this region of southwestern France.
Every month, this father from Bayonne exchanges €200 into Eusko, the local currency of France's Basque Country. A simple task that can be carried out in many shops.
It's not an inconvenience at all. It's like taking out euros from an ATM.
Iban then spends his Eusko in establishments which are members of the local currency association. More and more local business owners are joining the club. Today, more than 600 traders accept Eusko, like at this market here in Saint-Jean-de-Luz, where many stalls promote the Basque economy.
There's a big debate at the moment over the agricultural sector fighting against intermediaries, against major retailers. Here in the Basque Country, we organize ourselves differently. From the producer straight to the consumer, we cut out the middleman.
Eusko is the biggest local currency in France. Around €750,000 worth is currently in circulation. Its success is largely down to local engagement.
It supports an independent economy.
And it fights against big industry. The local currency is strongly tied to Basque identity and is promoted by a group of passionate locals. The association behind Eusko ensures the network runs smoothly, going against the grain of France's traditional monetary system.
90% of euros across the world are used to make high-risk trades that take advantage of fluctuations in the market. Eusko does the exact opposite. We take €1 and we change it into Eusko, and it goes directly into the real economy.
According to experts, local currency is all about financial autonomy in people's pockets.
By using a local currency, people hope to steer consumer behavior, the way we buy things, in a direction that locals consider to be more favorable for sustainable development, and also to favor distribution of goods from producers directly to customers, to favor a type of production or service.
Sometimes a local currency initiative comes from higher up. Normandy's regional council started a project for a local currency nearly 2 years ago, which will be called Roland, after the Viking chief and the first Norman duke from the 10th century. The currency will soon be used throughout Normandy and may one day become as widespread as the ushku.
Well, as we've been saying, dozens of local currencies have been launched all over France, including here in Paris, where a new currency called la pêche is just being rolled out. And to tell me all about it, I'm joined now by Luca Rochette-Berland, who is the joint president and the co-founder of the organization A Currency for Paris. Thank you so much for talking to us, Luca. Just tell me, first of all, what is the point of la pêche?
La pêche and all local currencies in France have few different goals in ecological, social, democratical and economical aspects. First, it's about taking back our power on economy and economics to have our own word to say about what is going on with our money, with our economy. We only have 10 years to fight climate change and maybe 1 or 2 years before the next financial crisis. So the goal is to, in few years, build the new local economy that could work in a world where oil or financial markets are gone.
So you're basically saying that with some pêche in your pocket, you have a sort of a hedge, it's a safe haven investment in the event of a major economic turmoil.
It's always better to prepare rather than to build something in the chaos of a financial crisis. So of course, for the day of the next financial crisis, the local currency will be some tools that can be used. And for instance, if you look at the Bitcoin, which is only based on the consumption of massive amounts of energy, when you have oil or coal or energical crisis, the local currency can still continue to be used.
Is this la pêche here?
Yes.
Can I have a look? So just looking at these pêche, they don't look and feel like banknotes. Aren't you worried about forgery?
No, because they are highly secured with some systems that prevent the fraud. But in the same time, for a criminal, it's really not interesting to make false local currency because it's really expensive, like to make false euros, but you can only spend them locally to buy food or simply goods. So it's much more interesting for a criminal to have euros you can spend in every criminal activities.
Personally, I'm using cash less and less these days and more contactless payment. So don't you think you're a bit late launching a new currency right now?
It's the opposite. Currently, in the world, we have cashless and no cash movements to abolish the cash. And it's really hard in north of Europe. But we are seeing two main problems with that. First, about the private data and the private life, because when all the currency is dematerialized, the banks and the states can retrace all of our exchanges, and in the same time we have marginalized population like refugees, homeless people who don't have the ability to have a banking account. They are being excluded more and more within those society because nobody have cash to give them, and they can't do anything because if they don't have a home address, they can have a banking account, and if they don't have a banking account, they can do anything. So we are seeing in Scandinavia people which are excluded totally of the society because of the cashless movement we are seeing in the world.
And just tell me, why did you come up with this name, La Pêche? What does that mean? I know it means a peach, but what's the symbolism of that?
There is a lot of puns and symbols behind this name. It's a symbol of self-sufficiency of agriculture, because until the 19th century we had walls of peaches where we grew our own fruits for Paris and the region. And in the same time it's a pun because avoir la pêche means to be enthusiastic, to be active.
Okay, well, thank you very much indeed for speaking to us, Luca Rochette-Berland. Thank you so much. I'm going to go and spend some pêche now because we're in a place called La Recyclerie, and they accept la pêche here, so I'm going to go and buy myself a coffee. Can I pay with pêche here?
Yes.
Okay, 1 coffee, please. 2 pêche? Thank you very much. Thank you. Well, that's it for this week's edition of France in Focus. Thank you very much indeed for joining us. I'll see you again soon here on France 24.